Ronald Morgan. I want to thank Subedar Mohammed. I want to thank Budu, Mahabir, and all these guys in the infirmary. All those guys. Believe you me, this government has allowed the Royal Jail to be in shambles, to be the worst place possible, but the service they give you was at higher. So these guys there, their heart is in the right place. I say thanks to them, because I had a very good night last night, a very good day today. But I tell you, this advice is in preparation for those guys on the government side who won't spend one night. Those guys on the government side, in 3 months' time, they go in there too, but not for one night. Not for one night. So I'm saying, therefore, it is times like these, you know who your friends are. And I got calls from all over the world. From all over South Africa, to Russia, to Finland, to France. Please. So I got, of course, I tell you, I got calls from all over. From all over. But you know something? Of all the calls I get, I want to, first of all, I appreciate all the calls I got. All the WhatsApp, all the text messages, I appreciated them. But 2 calls I got that struck me the most. Oh, Blatter. I come to him just for BBC wait. 2 calls I got that touched me, not really me, because it's not my wife, that touched me really. From Mr. and Mrs. Basil Pandey. And that includes Mikela Pandey. Also, several times for Winston Dukaran. So I said, look, these are the guys who I tell you stood up in time of need. And you know your friends are. I saw pictures today in papers, Pat crying on his shoulder, Lawrence and so on. Making people bawling and crying. I say, oh, don't cry. Let us take this and turn it around. Turn it around. Because the fact is, they thought that this would have broken us. What they failed to understand, as Vika said, this is not a one-man party. Because last night in Gandhi, you all had a fantastic meeting. Fantastic meeting. I want to tell the whole team, thanks very much. Because Jack Warner wasn't there, he was in jail. He was in jail. And I tell you something, I see some people in the media saying all kinds of things about Jack Warner. Oh, Papa, I tell you, I mean, you name it, they have said it. One TV station carried the news up to 8:30. Jack Warner. The only person they didn't call him, that's about Jack Warner, was gone. Jack Warner. I said, go ahead. I know I was in this. Why didn't you prison? Because the guys were treating me very well. When in the infirmary, there's a TV there. I was in the infirmary, I was sick. I was sick. They thought, Nicholas thought that I'd be shackled and so on. I was in the infirmary. And that's where other people have gone. And there are certain persons who have gone there. I make the point to you tonight that making jail these days seems to be the mark of honor, you know. Several great men who I know made jail. I know, of course, Mr. Pandey is a great man. He made jail longer than me, but he's a great man. Nelson Mandela made jail. Indira Gandhi made jail. Castro made jail. So who is Jack Warner? Who is Jack Warner? But what is sad is what I make jail for. That is sad. I know what is sad about it. Let me tell you this tonight. I have been in FIFA for 30 consecutive years. In China, where China has almost 2 billion people, there never has been a Chinese that spent 30 consecutive years in FIFA. I have. In India, 1.4 billion people, there never has been anybody spent 30 consecutive years. I have. In the USA, 300 million people, same thing. But to add further, of those 30 years, for 50 years more or less, I was the FIFA vice president. I was a heartbeat away from Blatter. And therefore, I'm saying to you, in China's whole history, 2 billion people, there never was one person in China a vice president of FIFA. In this country of 1.3 million people, I was. In India, 1.4 billion people, not once was there a person there who's a vice president of FIFA. In this country of 1.2 million people, I was. In the USA, 300 million people, they go on the moon, they climb on the stars. They never had a FIFA vice president. In this country, I was one. So I expect to have some people outside this country who will envy me. But what I never expected, that there are those people inside the country who would have hated me more. And in this country, I realized there are persons in this country and in the government who hate Jack Warner to the point of saying, let me imprison him. What have I done? What have I done? I have seen where I have been charged. I have been charged by the USA for crimes committed in Zurich. In Zurich. FIFA charged me. FIFA charged me. But US charged me. And the fact is the charge came down here. And in 15 minutes, Nicolas signed it. He never even asked me 1 minute to come and say, what's the problem here? He never even asked if there's any evidence for the charge. But he signed to extradite me. It took him 15 minutes to do that. After speaking with Kamla and Anand, it took him 3 months to sign. It took the AG 3 months to sign for Asian Steve. For Asian Steve, who they allege stole money from this country, took them 3 months. For me, who they allege stole money from FIFA in Zurich, he signed right away. Right away. The point I want to make to you, something has to be wrong. But worse yet, even after he signed to send me out the country to the US in chains and so on, he then had in the court, the Hodreka, in the court, all his lawyers, the same AG lawyers, Jal Ramdeen, Jagdev Singh and these guys, in court. Up to then, he didn't tell me a single word. If we didn't have our own intelligence, we never would have known. And we rushed to the court with the best lawyers in the land. Best in the land. Fayad Hussein, his team, Rishi and Anil. We had Reka there. We had Scotland. And they, of course, were able to get me to get bail to be here with you tonight. If Nicolas had his way, I wouldn't be here at all. And that is why it's so unfortunate that Keith Rowley could say what he has said. Because the fact is, all this is part of a plan. Get rid of Rowley, finish that. Get rid of Jack Warner, finish that. And then you call the election date. That's the plan. And I am surprised that Keith didn't understand that when he spoke in nonsense he spoke about in the Express. You see, didn't understand it. You see, my friends, what have I done wrong? What have I accused me for? Let me tell you what I've done. In the first case, you have to understand, in my life, I have had highs and I've had lows. Marriage, for me, was a high. I'm still high. Having won Shawana's West 3 times, that was a high. But there are some lows also, and one of the lowest of the lows was last Wednesday, when I had to go to surrender myself to the police, to go to court. I see a fella say how my shoulders were drooped, I was alone on the bench, how I think. They say how I eat sardine and bread. The last sardine I saw was about 5 months ago in my arrow. I never eat sardine and bread. They say how I'm in a hospital, and Sinclair Medical Hospital. They say how I eat, of course, cocoa. I drink cocoa tea. All they gave me what I asked for, they gave me some garlic tea for my pressure. Which cocoa tea? But the fact is they started to demonize Jack Warner. Having killed Rowley, go to Jack Warner, and Rowley didn't see that. What have I done, friends? Friends, let's face it. We are up to now the smallest country in the world to have ever been able to qualify for a World Cup final. And that was done under me. Yes. They could run, they could hide. That was done under me. And it will never happen again in our collective lifetime. What the point is this? They had, of course, 2 things for the World Cup, 2018, 2022. 2018, England, among others, bid for it. 22, the USA, among others, bid for it. England lost the bid to Russia, who many felt had never hosted a World Cup, and should give it to Russia. You kill me for that? The USA wanted 2022. Many felt that it's time we move the axis from being Europe and America, America and Europe, and give it to a small country, a Muslim country, an Arabic country. What is wrong with that? Why is it we have to put pressure on small countries? Because the fact is this: if we put pressure on small countries, we wouldn't have qualified. And the only person to understand the role of a small country in World Cup football, I did. And therefore I understand Qatar's position. But the US believe that they have some divine right to everything. The answer is no. They may have divine right to Nicholas. And then now, they put some charges on me, but I don't know nothing about. They never asked me once. They never called me once. Them no Nicholas. Not once they called me. Charges against me. Conspiracy this, wire fraud tapping. I, Jack Warner, know nothing about those charges. Nothing about charges. And therefore, what our lawyers have done is to ask them to prove it. Yes. Come here and prove it. Yes. But since Nicholas was so quick to send me to the US for trial, how the hell he can ask the US to send Calderhat back here? How the hell, after 5 years, why can't he ask the US to send back Calderhat here? Calderhat spent our money. And according to him, I spent FIFA money. But he sent me back to the States. But Calderhat stayed in Miami. Something has to be wrong. Has to be wrong. And I'm telling you, this is the sad part of this country. And the sad part also is that too many persons believe it. I read some people like Surge. It's not surprised. I want to tell Surge, I too Surge, not surprised either. About Surge. But if Kamala believes that she could put those mounds of garbage she has as ministers back for election, I wish her luck. I wish her luck. At the end of the day, my friends, the point is, I said that we, as a party, have to make sure that we are neither Indian nor African. Our party must be for all races. We also said, at the end of the day, that our parties must be judged on representation, action, and performance. And they could do what they want. There is not a single, and I'm not boasting, but there's not a single member of parliament who could talk about better performance than I can. They could do what they want. There is not one of them who could talk about representation better than I can. And the same goes for action. In the last 4 weeks, the way the government moving, you will feel that 4 weeks equal to 5 years. They're building bridge, they're turning south, they're opening hospital, they're hosting a place on Johnny Lai Road, Akbari Road, they're hosting to build a ministry, they're buying ship. I mean, you name it, they're doing it all in 4 weeks. All in 4 weeks, you know. For 5 years, they did nothing. And they're hoping to of course, fool people. And next week, they go to Parliament to pass a bill to get more money to pay public servants the back pay. Because they believe if they do that, they'll win the election. You see, people stupid. We said before again and again, that there shall be no government in this country without the idea. When I was very depressed yesterday, I was depressed because I have never been in jail in my life. And I mean, Kamala then sent me there to break me. And I was saying to myself, look, I might be a liability on the party. So I told Indra called for me after this meeting, an emergency executive committee meeting. Let me go and tell them that they have to find a new leader. But I tell you something, Indra, I never told you that. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. And I'm taking them head on. Head on. Today we shall go us east. Tomorrow we all over the country. You name it, we shall be there. And I want to tell Kamala that as of tonight, the gloves are off. Kamala, having jailed me, as of tonight, the gloves are off. And if Kamala has a soft chin, that's her business. But what I will do, I decided everything I have against Kamala, I'll bring it out. I have kept it back too long. And I will bring it out, but not tonight. I've decided that I shall make a tape and give to 4 persons. Because you see, you could never tell. Tomorrow Jack is here, and tomorrow Jack might be down below. The way they're going, desperate, eh? Very desperate. And of course, Marlon and them fellas have eyes back at the head. Right? But the fact is this, I feel threatened. Honestly, my life feels threatened. I hate to say that to you, but my life feels threatened. But I will not relent. So I'll make 4 copies, 4 video. I'll give it to 4 lawyers. 4 lawyers. I'll give it 1 to a PNM lawyer, 1 to an ILP lawyer, 1 to an MSJ lawyer, and 1 to my lawyer. That in the event of death, before I bust the mark, I say bust it. Because the time has come when the gloves must be off for Kamala. I saw tonight somebody says that Kamala said that she never, that I never financed her in 2010. Kamala said that I never helped her financially in 2010. And 95% of the people say she lied. And I'll tell you something, she lied. But what I will do, I will tell Kamala, before I tell her what I did for her, I'll tell Kamala, all the contractors I went with her to collect money, 2010. And when I felt so obscene in one case, I walked out and Stacy went in. But again, we keep it clean, not tonight. And I really don't want to also upset Mrs. One either. Because the fact is, I say again to you, all gloves are off. I've remained silent for too long. And because of that, they believe, of course, they could walk over me. And if Keith Rowley believes that his being put out of Parliament is a joke, I'm saying to him, that was part of a plan. And if he doesn't understand that what they did me, putting me in jail yesterday, part of a plan. So for him to talk, he wants to talk about in the Express, I was disappointed. But then again, that is Keith Rowley. Right. So my friends, as I'm here tonight, I tell you, Jack is alive and kicking. Jack, I want to tell you that he will be with you to the end. My past has been grim and brutal because of Kamala and the government. My present is assured because of you. And the future is most definite based on the collective efforts of all of us. I therefore thank you. Tonight, I want to tell you also that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. we have our Indian Arrival Day at Gaston Court, beginning from 7 p.m. Gaston Court, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. They thought I would be in jail and missed that. But of course tomorrow I'll be there also. And the show goes on from next week. And from June, no, I don't know, some say June 5th.